Hello and welcome to the Big Circus Weekender vlog. I'm Catherine Kavanagh of thecircusdiaries.com, and this week I visited Brighton with Steve Jacks, circus fan extraordinaire, and we took in 3 very different types of circus show. So we're going to give you our thoughts. If you've seen any of the shows, please let us know how you enjoyed them, your favourite bits, things you thought were a bit weird. And yeah, see if you can work out which our favourites were. Without further ado, here's how it went. So I'm here, Steve Jacks, Steve's here.
The Steve and Kate show.
Yeah, and we're going to see Depart by Circa and students from the graduating class of National Centre for Circus Arts in London, formerly known as Circus Space. Steve, who are you?
I'm a circus fan.
And you run the Steve Jacks Circus Days UK
Circus Days Facebook page. Yes, with hundreds and hundreds of members.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you all.
we'll put the link below and then you can go and sign up.
Woodvale Cemetery is a delicate site. We would love it if you stayed on the path and did not walk on the graves. The people in the graves, I think, would appreciate that too. This is a current and active cemetery in a very beautiful and delicate space. The show is designed to be viewed from many perspectives and through things, so it's okay if you're in a slightly unexpected position, you're almost certain to catch something beautiful and amazing. Finally, for the course of the next hour, we would really appreciate once you enter the cemetery if you could walk through in silence. This will give you the greatest opportunity to experience the full range of flavours and experiences for the performance and ensure that everyone else in the performance can do the same. So ladies and gentlemen, let us depart.
Yeah, we have just come out of the cemetery and we are now in the Marks and Spencer's petrol station forecourt because there's a lamppost. But now you can see our faces and hear our thoughts. And I'm going to let Steve go first.
Do you know, right? I've got something to say. It's a bit. You mentioned Doctor Who earlier. You know I'm coming in with this, don't you? It was like being in an episode of Doctor Who. You walk in, there's all these, and there's so many people. I didn't know there'd be so many people involved. All these singers in black, and some of them have things over their head, singing with candles and light torches and things. You walk through, and there's some girl about 10 going, "Don't look back. Keep moving forward in silence and don't turn back." And it was like being in an episode of Doctor Who immediately.
And do you know, there was something about that little girl with, like, I don't know where in the world people will be watching this from, but this week there was a horrific bomb attack in Manchester in the UK which killed like over 20 children and young people, and entering this graveyard with a small child telling us we're now entering their place, that had a resonance for me that maybe if I'd seen the show a week ago in Hull it would have been different. And at the end as well, all the circus graduating students do a big kind of selection of choreographies on a stage in front of the church, and again they're all very young and outside the church with the wreaths of the people who have had funerals today and yesterday, and that made me think about those incidents.
Really, I like weird stuff. Can I say it was weird? Because it is kind of weird,
yeah.
but weird in a good way, not weird in a strange way. But some of the, I mean, there were individual circus acts going on in trees and bushes and things. That's very strange. That were very, very good. There was a bit of what I don't like about Cirque du Soleil is that you wanted to watch that act, and then there's 5 things going on in the background to deter you from watching the act, so you're missing what they're actually doing because someone was going next to you know.
I thought there was like just enough to get you interested and then it was on to something else.
Oh yeah.
And the show is kind of 2 things. Like as a showcase for the graduating students, it's a wonderful opportunity to work with a world famous circus director and a big artistic vision, and doing this ensemble thing. So in that sense it's worked really well. But in terms of it being marketed as a circus show with very expensive tickets, this vision that Yaron Lifshitz must have had was so clear. But if it had the budget of, I don't know, Royal Ballet choreographers, and actually the choir was beautiful. The choir was really good, and maybe motorbike. The choir was beautiful and really made
Yeah.
it's strong.
And you walk through them, and sometimes they were just standing there and stuff, all dressed in black. It's very choral. People who know me know my favourite musical is Chester Musical, and there's people in black and white and doing choral stuff. It was a bit like the choral stuff in Chester. It was good. Yeah, they were good singers.
And I guess that must be a local choir as well.
I guess so. And there was lots of people involved, so much more people in it than I thought there'd be. You'd walk past and there's lots of people just doing weird stuff. If you imagine Kate Bush doing Wuthering Heights and all this, and there's lots of it going on, and I'm not really sure what it was about. But
get lots of it.
No,
yeah.
I didn't get.
I didn't
don't know
get
why.
lots of it.
It was just wanting to be weird, so it was weird. But
at the
I
end,
liked it. I liked it.
at the end, they had there was a couple who started after we walked through the corridor of singing and lanterns. There was a couple who were doing a little bit of acrobalance on a plinth, and then they separated and went two separate directions, and the audience separated and went two separate directions, and then felt like everything else was separate stories, that it wasn't connected. But at the very end, when everybody was back on this stage, the guy from that initial acro couple came back on in his white shirt and black trousers, and the girl that was his partner came on, but she had changed her costume, and I thought maybe they were trying to say something about this couple being split up by death, but it just wasn't clear really.
Or it didn't mean anything, and you're trying to look into it.
Yeah, maybe.
But we'll go for it.
Yeah. And
a lot of dance at the end. It was bits of circus, but there's a lot of dance and lots of people wailing and stuff. Dance is not circus. I don't think that it actually had people going. You know what I mean? But yeah, well, I don't mind that so much. Right? Did you have any thoughts about the costumes? I just thought it was probably tasteful because it was a graveyard, to be fair. What did you think?
I feel like I'm being really nitpicky now.
They couldn't wear yellow and bright
like
purple,
me.
could they?
No, they couldn't. And they had sort of three different costume ideas.
There was this almost naked body.
Yeah, there were these sort of nude
things.
tops and shorts and trousers with a bit of netting on, which I liked the most. And then there was some sort of black dresses that tied in because they had these netting on the shoulders. But then there was like three blue, like royal blue lycra shiny dresses, which just I couldn't see why they fitted, and they just seemed a little bit cheap. I think they reminded me of the costumes that I had to wear to dance classes in my local dance school when I was like 10 years old.
I quite liked.
Oh, well, there we go. And that's what we have to do.
It was a lovely colour, and it was made a difference with the black and white. And but hey,
I mean, I think it was good to have a different colour, but maybe it's just my personal memory turned me off that one. Oh yeah, they touched us and they led us around, and that was really lovely. This guy came and he put his arm around me and wandered me along, and a few times as we're walking as audience, it's gone. The performers would just come and like guide you, but in a very togethery kind of way.
led around by ladies with candles. Well, not candles, I suppose, but torching candles, ready to go and stuff. It was just nice in the graveyard as well.
What was your favourite bit?
I was so tempted to say the end. No, no. Do you know, the favourite bit, ironically, was the first bit where the guy and the girl were doing all this hand dancing on top of each other and stuff. And then they were on at the end, and I thought, you know, that was probably the best bit. They were probably the best act. The only disappointing bit I thought was at the end. They had a big, enormous stage, and I thought, oh, we'd have wonderful things here, and it was mostly dance. Where I thought, oh, now we can watch the circus acts properly. But no, it was all a bit dance at the end, and I thought that was a bit disappointing.
So you gave me your favourite bit and your worst bit at the same.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to ask
the end.
question.
It's ironic. I think the end could have been a bit more explosive and circus, and it just ended in a lot of classical dancing for me. But I really like the whole
They did
thing.
do a three-high, didn't
Oh,
they?
yeah,
They like
There's
constructed a three-high.
Little bits in a 15-minute segment of dance.
And that's what Circa seem to do often.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're brilliant, and sometimes they're not grab me. I think it was 2015. Yaron, who's the artistic director, did something crazy like 8 or 12 new creations in the space of a year, and so maybe they don't all get the dedicated development time that would make them all brilliant. I'm going to turn this off now. Tomorrow,
Yes.
when we go to
Jay Miller's
Fayre.
Circus.
Jay Miller's, yeah. So we have just seen
Jay Miller's Circus.
two shows, which are kind of the first half and the second half of their normal show,
Yeah.
because we're at the Cuckoo Fair and they're doing them as 1 hour slots.
4 shows in total.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really good. All the performers have got this really infectious spirit and energy that just transfers. It was 11 o'clock in the morning, wasn't it, when it started? And, you know, I'm not a
wasn't
morning
awake.
person, but they had us like that straight away, or they had me like that.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a single duck act. There wasn't any, like, moments, which there sometimes are in transition. So, yeah, I'm very impressed.
All the acts had strong presentation, costumes, presentation, lighting and stuff. It was all very, very good, wasn't it, indeed? And worth seeing.
And I like the sparkles. We're saying that, like the sparkles
Yeah.
in the costumes,
And
a bit of that glamour.
Even though a lot of the acts have been in the show for years and years, every year they change the acts that they do or this presentation of it. So it's always, you can go again and again every year, and it's always different, even though some of the people are the same.
And that was the first time I've seen Jay Miller's, because they don't normally come to the same area of the country that I'm usually in. But being down here, it's definitely going to be added to my must-see list.
Yeah.
What was your favourite bit?
I loved, I know the quick change acts, I've seen them before on that show and another show, and they're great, fantastic. I love the quick change act, and that's a very good one. And also I enjoyed the Beauty and the Beast aerial act, which involved the three sisters, Miller sisters. I won't say too much more in case you go to see it. I won't ruin it. Let's just say it's got a bit of a story, and at the end it's the Beauty and the Beast story
Yeah.
in one act. It's very, very clever.
And I like the ringmaster. They've got an Australian ringmaster who's Mitchell
Or something.
and he doesn't sing, which is what Steve was worried about.
I hate singing
But
ringmasters.
he does do a little bit of aerial straps, and he's got lovely costumes, and he's very suave, and he's got that Australian charm.
That presentation, you thought you were at Ringling Brothers, very sort of showbizy, glamorous sort of presentation.
He works well with the clown is Pepe, is it?
Yes.
And he's a great clown.
Yes.
And he
Great
does some
character.
very classic acts. One with a coat that comes to life. But that's probably the funniest version of that I've ever seen, and I've seen quite a lot of versions of a coat coming to life.
You actually begin to think it actually is coming to life. It's very good. It's a very, very, very good presentation.
So we're giving it a recommend.
Yeah.
What years
are we talking? What years are you?
Well, I go between 46 and 74. But I do got odd vehicles that they used after that. You never finish because they know you're here and they bring you a photograph. Never seen that before, so you then got to make a model of it, you see. They're actually Bachman O-gauge figures. They're American. Bachman O-gauge street scene. And you get a couple of motorcyclists and a couple of other figures in there. I did have 2 other motorbikes in it, but I didn't have any figures on them, and I thought, well, these I can glue them in there to make them look right.
This one, I think it's taken me really about 4 weeks to actually finish the 10th project.
Alright, so I am back in the car, but I'm about to drive back to Brighton. I am hoping to catch Curtis Tappington's art exhibition and see what else I can see about Brighton before the Circus of Horrors of this evening. So now we are going to talk about
Circus
Horrors mashed up with Jerry Cottle's Wow Circus.
This is a bit.
Yeah, so we're in the tent that I can't, that tent there. and some of the performers from the Wow Circus and the Circus Horrors kind of storyline combined in a Brighton special.
Yeah, this Saturday and next Saturday. 2 days.
Like it? Yeah.
Yeah, next Saturday.
And
9 p.m.
John Hayes, Dr. Hayes, is he's a candidate for the election in this region.
Vote Hayes.
Vote Hayes.
Wants
So
to be elected.
he wants. That's one of the songs. So part of the show is also kind of the campaign trail. So it was quite a nice like political thread through the show as well, like with tongue in cheek and kind of satirical. But yeah, that was fun.
It was very entertaining. I haven't seen it for years and years and years, unfortunately. And because it was on 10, I had to come along because it makes it more circusy, and it was very entertaining.
Yeah,
So,
it was.
panto, nothing too horrible. It was panto, you know.
Yeah, it's really camp, like in the best way, in like the kind of theatrical metal band kind of.
It's like an Alice Cooper gig for those of us old enough to remember who that is.
Yeah.
It's a bit.
And I said as we came, I come out with a smile on my face, which is what Circus does, and I don't know if I was expecting that from the Circus Horrors, because I've seen a fair bit of sideshow stuff in other places, and they do that, and they kind of do the shock value, but for fun rather than for actually to genuinely freak people out, which is nice. I mean, you come to be entertained, and that's what they do.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been a big fan of the gory bits, I'll be honest, because that's
There weren't any gory
just me.
bits.
But they were, but not much. No, not much.
Depends how squeamish
Which is
you are,
funny
doesn't
because
it?
you're the one that was screaming, not me. But anyway, we digress. But yeah, no, it was very entertaining, very good, and I'm
tall
glad
enough.
I came.
Yeah,
Sorry.
me too. So, Steve, what's your best bit?
Well, I know it was. You put me on the spot
I
because
have.
there was lots of good bits.
It's all right. We can do.
Do you know
editing.
what? I'm not gonna, because I know a lot of people in the show, so I'm not gonna single it out. How about that?
That's
That's
absolutely
not-
acceptable.
Yes,
Acceptable.
yes.
So thanks, Steve.
Thanks,
for our Circus
Kate.
weekend.
Who was she? I don't know who she was. She just turned up.
Yeah. So same time, same place next year. Who
Maybe it
knows?
could be.
All right. Bye.
Bye.